She holds me with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fun-filled episode of the Paranormal Portal. How you guys doing? Thank you for being here. It's Wednesday night. It's hump day. Don, what day is it?
Hump day.
That's right. And I couldn't ask that question if he wasn't here, folks. Please welcome my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard. How you doing, brother?
Doing great. It must be Wednesday night.
It is.
Oh,
it is.
Nice.
Wednesday nights.
Nice.
2 fun-filled hours full of the paranormal, folks. There's not much more you could want. If you want more than that, then I don't know. You're in the wrong place.
Yep. Wow. Yeah.
Because that's what we got on deck for you. So I hope you're all having a great week. And, of course, we got a lot of goodness prepped and ready to go here for you guys. Lots of fun-filled paranormal, oddities and weirdness. Quite a bit of some strange ones tonight I've got pulled up. But, I think you'll like it. I think you will. But, Don.
Yes.
Is there anything normal about the paranormal?
Just normally that we're here.
We're normally here. That's it. And, of course, the phone lines will be open, especially the second hour, because that's when we'll actually answer them. But the numbers.
We'll attempt to answer them.
The numbers are 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. That's the numbers for fun here on the portal. And if you want to be a part of the discussion, you've got something paranormal of your very own to share, we'd love to hear from you. So, got that in the bag. Let's see, Don, what am I forgetting? It's Wednesday, so I'm not quite in my groove at all.
Is it news?
Oh, yeah, we got the news to get to.
Yeah.
We got the news to get to.
Medellin Falls.
Medellin Falls, of course, is a great, we want to drop a
there you go.
Reminder to those of you that are looking for some festivals and fun and events this year. There's going to be a lot more this year than there were last year. Obviously, a lot of things are opening up.
Thank God.
Yeah, because there was like none last year. So even one is a lot more than last year. But one good one that you're going to want to check out, and it keeps evolving.
Oh my gosh, yes.
There's what was it you were saying today, or is that not official? The race?
Oh yeah, I guess there's going to be a 5K Bigfoot race there as well.
So if you're a runner and you're interested in seeing Bob Gimlin and Adam Davies and Shane Corson and more names,
10 million other big names.
Yeah, there's like a lot of huge names that are going to be there. Don and myself will be there. You might want to check it out.
Well, I thought you said huge names.
Well, I just meant huge. We got some
non-size specific.
Yeah, that's it. Because there's a lot going on there at this festival, and the speaking engagements are sold out, but there's a lot of other activities that'll be going on in this whole community.
That's right.
And it's beautiful. There's actually quite a lot of activity up in this area as well. So there's just so much going on, and we hope that if you're able to, you'll take part in this. It's just one of those opportunities to rub elbows, talk with some incredible people that are involved in the field and have been. The
granddaddy of them all.
Bob Gimlin. I mean, can you believe that? That to me is just like, oh man, that's.
Yeah, when I saw you put that up, I was like, God, I hope we're invited. I just want to be invited. Please invite me. Please invite me.
Please let us be there. Yeah, and so we are. We're going to be there as well. So lots in the hopper and this is June 19th and 20th, folks, in Medellin Falls, Washington State. So if you can make that journey, that is one, that's like a bucket list in one location. I mean, literally. If you're into the Bigfoot field and interested in all of that, there's just
Ken
not.
Gerhardt's going to be there.
Ken Gerhardt, yeah. And we met Ken, and what a fantastically nice guy.
I was amazed. He's just real humble.
Yeah.
Just real humble.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my.
Just a really cool person and down to earth.
Yep.
And just loves talking about this stuff too. I mean, it's not like it's just his day job and then he's some other guy. I mean, this is the guy he is. And just real sincere. So just a great opportunity to meet a lot of wonderful people. And more stuff is dropping all the time. As Don mentioned, there's a 5K race that's been announced now or is being planned. So there's lots to do. Lots going on. And the local movie theater will be playing free movies, documentary movies about Bigfoot. So there's so much going on, and you just don't want to miss this. And it's about the coolest little town you'll ever go to. I think it was what the Postman, Kevin Costner, was filmed there.
Postman, it was filmed up in that area.
Yeah. So if you've ever seen that movie, that's the location we're talking about it. And you can see how beautiful and picturesque it is. It's just phenomenal. So anyway, but I guess that's everything on the front end. So it's about time to get to work here, huh, Don?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, it's time to get creepy.
Oh, my.
I love that drop.
Time to get creepy.
Ooh, that's even spookier. Gave me chills. All right, Don, you know what time it is now?
It's time for the news.
It's time for the news, folks. Let's get into the Paranormal Portal news.
What an applause. Wow.
I know, it's
The
just
studio audience loves us.
love us, love us. We need your love. We always need your love, folks, and thank you for giving it so freely. All right, so this is the news desk, folks. We got a lot of Paranormal Portal news ready to cook, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as we enjoy it. The first article tonight, and this is
What?
This is a weird one.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't pre-read any of these, so well, much like most of the material on the show,
It's always best that way. It's a surprise to us as well as you.
Yeah, I know. I'm just glad I can cold read things okay because, yeah, for the most part. This is an article coming from unexplained-mysteries.com, and it's talking about a cemetery at the center of werewolf sighting claims. Now, I will say that I think it's Native Americans have a belief about the dogmen, and that is that they are supposed to be guardian spirits and guardians of cemeteries. And so it doesn't surprise me, or burial grounds or whatever. It doesn't surprise me that this is the case. But let's read this and find out what it says. It says, the so-called werewolf at Camberwell, okay, has been sighted several times over the years, according to reports. Situated in the south of London dating back 170 years, the aptly named Camberwell Old Cemetery is reportedly home to a familiar supernatural creature that's said to skulk among the gravestones. Tales of this alleged werewolf recently caught the attention of local researcher Andy McGrath, who discovered two intriguing encounters that took place at the cemetery 8 years apart. In the first instance, which took place on October 9th, 1996, a man had been taking a shortcut through the cemetery when something grabbed him by the arm and smashed him into the ground.
Wow.
He saw a large creature with dark fur and a head like a German shepherd looking at him intently, slobbering and growling and sniffing his body up and down, just as a dog would, said McGrath. Just as quickly as the attack started, it was over, and the beast sprinted off on its hind legs. The second encounter, which occurred in 2004, involved two witnesses. We heard a low growl, one of them said, and then a large tree in the corner of the cemetery was shaking incredibly hard, as if something really powerful was shaking it with all its might. It definitely was not made by a person or an animal. The tree looked as if the roots were ready to be ripped out. My friend and I took to our heels and ran as quickly as we could in different directions.
Oh.
We could not rationalize the sheer terror we both felt. We knew we had to get as far away from the cemetery as soon as we possibly could. There is something very sinister there. So could there really be a werewolf stalk in this 170-year-old cemetery? If a creature is described as being animal-like, then probably, as an animal and not uncommonly a known animal, even if the qualities it portrays seem superficially supernatural at the time, said McGrath. I don't even know what that last paragraph meant. If a creature described as being animal-like, then it probably is an animal and not uncommonly a known animal. Oh, okay. Now I understand. Even if the qualities it portrays seem superficially supernatural at the time.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it grabbed somebody and slammed him into the ground and then ran away on its hind legs.
A dog wouldn't do that. No, not even a dire wolf would do that.
Right. And it ran away on its hind legs. So, and as far as I know, I don't know of any wolves and dogs that shake trees.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know. I think he's taking the easy way out on this one, but I don't know. It's hard to say, folks. But that's, of course, I don't know. It's a claim.
Why would they sprint in two different directions?
I think they just ran and
They
got the
just
hell
got
away.
fell out.
It just happened to be two different directions because
We're just bugging out.
they were not coordinating at that point. that was a fudge stripe all the way to home.
No
you know?
doubt. No doubt. Wow.
There was no planning in that reaction, Don.
Shoot.
None at all. But let's get to the next.
Well, what points to a werewolf? Why not Dogman? Or
Well, I just think it's a term of convenience because everybody knows a werewolf, but not everybody knows a dogman. So, but I don't think there's any traditional difference, in my own opinion. I mean, some people like to say that.
Right.
No, dogman is this and werewolf is this. Well, yeah, a werewolf generally is considered by lore to be something that can be a person at times, but then is also this animalistic. The werewolf other times. But I don't know. I don't think it's quite that easy. So anyway, take it or leave it. That's the first story. We bring them hot all night long. Here's the next one. And this is for all you space tourists of the future. This is good news, maybe or maybe not. I don't know how you feel about Virgin Airways, but apparently they've unveiled what their new galactic plane is going to look like, Don.
Oh, yay, Richard Branson.
Does it look like a kazoo?
Here, blow on this end. Sorry.
Looks like a kazoo. Sir Richard Branson's fledgling space tourism firm has revealed the latest member of its burgeoning fleet.
Wow.
What's the scale on this thing?
Yeah, exactly. What was it? A postage stamp?
It's like a pencil. It's our new ballpoint pen, folks.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
It's been a bumpy few years at Virgin Galactic, especially with the loss of its original Spaceship Two in October 2014, an accident that not only claimed the life of a pilot, but also cast doubt on whether the company's lofty goal of launching tourists into space would ever happen at all. More recently, however, things have begun looking up, with the unveiling of the VSS Unity in 2016, and now 5 years later on, a second spaceplane that has been dubbed the VSS Imagine. It is the first of the company's new Spaceship 3, I guess they're up to 3, line of vehicles that will ultimately carry passengers and experiments into the suborbital space. Got that going for you. As a Spaceship 3 class of vehicle, Imagine is just not just beautiful to look at, but represents Virgin Galactic's growing fleet of spaceships, says Branson. I don't know if they're really spaceships, though, right?
Well,
they're just kind of like really high altitude planes, is what.
Suborbital.
Yeah,
suborbital, right?
Yeah, so I think calling them a spaceship is a bit lofty of a definitive there. But all great achievements, creations, and changes start with an idea. Our hope is that for all those who travel to space to return with a fresh perspective and new ideas that will bring positive change to our planet.
I would just want to return in one piece.
As things stand, it's unclear whether when the first actual space tourism flight will take place. However, VSS Unity is currently preparing for its next suborbital test mission in May. VSS Imagine and Inspire are stunning ships that will take our future astronauts on an incredible voyage to space, and their names reflect the aspirational nature of human spaceflight, said Virgin Galactic CEO Michael Colglazier. Okay, congratulations to our dedicated team who worked so brilliantly to achieve this milestone.
Brilliantly
Well,
done. You got to imagine there's a lot of tech that has to go into that. I
Sure.
mean, we shot, people to the moon with, less brains than a calculator, but whatever.
That's true. With basically punch cards and a whole lot of good intentions.
Here, can you run this program through on this punch card?
Quick, they're running into trouble. Feed these cards. Get the emergency cards quick.
Gracious.
All right. Well,
This is not a valid menu option.
it isn't.
Why
You
not?
are absolutely
Why
correct.
is it? I mean, we pay for that, right?
Well, I don't even know what that is. I'm still perplexed where that comes from, but I don't know, folks. It's hard to say, but it's apparently not valid.
Oh, no, you're not going to start going off on this, are you?
Oh, you know I am. In another bid to try to stay relevant in today's world, we hear once again from the enigmatic wonder of
Spoonbender.
yeah, or also known as Spoonbender, Mr. Uri Geller, who is now
That's the fifth element.
should have wiped his elements a little cleaner. I don't know.
Next time, use soap and hot water.
Yeah, no kidding. This is an article from unexplained-mysteries.com. Now, Uri Geller's taking bows, ladies and gentlemen. Mind power moved the Suez Canal ship.
Right.
It was mind power, not a bunch of tugboats and ropes and stuff. It was Uri Geller bending spoons that made the difference, folks. This guy is just such an ego pig. Oh, God, he just needs to go away now.
You cannot bend the spoons I bent. They are my spoons.
Yeah, I'll bet. The celebrity spoon bender, it even says that in the article, has taken credit for helping to free the stricken cargo ship in the Middle East.
Yes.
After a tremendous cooperative efforts involving skilled salvage crews, dredgers, and a small fleet of tugboats, the world breathed a sigh of relief when the gargantuan cargo ship Ever Given was finally moved after being wedged in the Suez Canal for a better part of the week.
Does that mean my Amazon will finally come?
Yeah.
My wish is all jammed up.
You can expect those new steak knives anytime.
Don't let Yuri have them. He'll bend them.
According to Uri Geller, however, it was the mind power of his fans that helped to move the ship. Oh, you deluded.
Did you hear about what he was
sack of hell.
saying? Did you hear what he said?
I'm just hearing it now, but what else?
Well, what he did was he put a notice out there that says, if all of us concentrated and gave our all and the energy to moving that ship in the Suez Canal, we can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, like everyone else was just sitting on their thumbs waiting for the spoon benders to kick in.
Especially the guy with the little tiny backhoe out there going, hey, let me get this out of here for you. Let me move this.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
It was his fans that moved the ship. Even Ever the Opportunist, the world famous Israeli, had urged his fans around the world to use their collective brain power to move the stricken vessel at 11:11 a.m. on Saturday. It was a mammoth task, but with our mind power and self-belief, we altogether freed that ship.
Yes.
He said, your sheer positive energy also helped to the ground crew efforts. Well done to them, too. Of course, the ship did not move on the date and time of Geller's scheduled event.
No, of course not. It takes a while for all that power, all that energy to get there.
It does. However, that doesn't seem to have stopped him from claiming that he had contributed to the effort. He's done something similar before, such as in December of 2019 when he claimed that he had energized UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson to help him win the election. Suffice to say, it seems unlikely that he had any impact whatsoever in either case.
No
Wow. So, I mean, this down below here is his recent mention.
Yeah, the Pokemon
lawsuit. He swayed the election results. iPhone bending is psychic. Applies for weirdos and misfits job. That one he's qualified for. Wants to stop Brexit telepathically. And bent spoon is sold at auction.
Oh, wow.
Yep, there you go.
I'll pay a penny for that.
There's more of Uri Geller, folks. And he's still eating up news cycles every chance he gets.
Yep.
Because this man is absolutely determined to not be forgotten.
Oh, goodness.
And, and don't get me wrong, folks. I believe we can do incredible things. But
Right.
I don't think any of those incredible things are probably going to be spearheaded by Uri Geller. I'm just going to go on record and say that. I'm not a big fan. I am not a big fan. So if you didn't already glean that from the narrative, but just to make it official. All right. So here's a doozy, Don.
Wow.
I can believe this, but
What is it all about?
well, it's all about, according to unexplained-mysteries.com, the record for holding your breath, Don, just got extended.
Wow.
And
Is
the
it
new-
like 35 seconds?
It is apparently man holds breath for 24 minutes, 33 seconds.
Wow. I
That's-
can hold my breath for like 15 and a half.
That's like turtle length, you know?
Yeah, no doubt.
A 54-year-old from Croatia has managed to break the world record for holding his breath underwater. For most of us, holding our breath for more than a minute can be a struggle. I'm dragging after 15 seconds, full disclosure here, but which is why the feat recently achieved by Croatia's Budimir Buda Sobat is so unfathomably impressive. Under the supervision of doctors, the 54-year-old diver began his record attempt by spending a few minutes hyperventilating on pure oxygen before lying face down in a swimming pool.
He was lying face down in a swimming pool?
Yeah, it doesn't not like he's ever in any danger, apparently.
Right. And it's not like, you're like 100 feet under where there's like pressure actually pushing
Sure.
against your body.
Having given up bodybuilding to take up static diving, Sobat, who hails from the town of Sisak, had previously succeeded in holding his breath for 24 minutes, but was keen to take things even further. His latest attempt saw him break the Guinness World Record with a time of 24 minutes and 33 seconds, an absolute unimaginable amount of time for anyone to hold their breath. It's a feat achievable only by the most dedicated and requires a lifetime of practice. Suffice to say, this is one record that you definitely shouldn't try at home.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow.
24
That's-
minutes.
That's pretty impressive, though.
That is.
I mean, like you said, 15 seconds is about my, absolute top limit. It's wow.
That's the point where my lungs are screaming.
Must have-
breathe, damn it.
Must have beef jerky.
What's on TV? Yeah, I don't know. That's incredible. He is hyperventilating on pure oxygen, which is, granted he's going into it in a hyper oxygenated state.
Right.
But still, that's 24 minutes.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Wow. There you have it, folks. For the record books, I guess. One more for the record books, Don.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Good old Guinness.
Good old McGinnis. Here's a dumb one. This goes to show you that there's a lot more money than common sense out there, folks.
Yeah.
And not only this, but the story actually gets more interesting in just a second.
Oh,
Here's how this is what
I should be rich.
the 1% of people do with their money, folks. And this is a heartbreaker as people are struggling to pay their bills and to feed families and stuff. Some idiot just spent $120,000 on a banana duct taped to a wall as a piece of art, folks. As a piece of art. Says modern art connoisseurs have taken to a rather tongue-in-cheek exhibit at a Miami Beach arts festival this week. A fool and his money are soon parted, as the saying goes. Amen. And nowhere is this more apparent than at Art Basel in Miami, where at least two art collectors have already paid an absurd $120,000 for a piece of art that amounts to little more than an overripe banana stuck to a wall with duct tape.
Two people bought it?
I guess so. They just thought it was something to pool their resources with.
Wow.
The farcical exhibit, which is appropriately entitled Comedian, is the work of Italian artist Maurizio Catalan, who reportedly acquired the piece of fruit from a local supermarket.
Gosh.
Well, he didn't even have it specially imported
That's
on.
freaking genius.
Wow. After going on sale by Paris-based gallery Periton, the first iteration of the piece sold to a French art collector for the full $120,000, while the second version also sold for the same amount.
Wow.
So he made $240,000 on this deal. 2 bananas, Don.
Wow.
That's like $110.
And, you know, a roll of duct tape is, you know, $5, you know.
Yep.
I think he did pretty damn good.
So it says, given the success of the piece, subsequent iterations are set to be sold for even higher sums.
Oh my God!
Exactly what will happen to its value once the banana rots away remains unclear.
You know, if the artist, air quotes, artist was smart, he would have, like, you know, you can score a banana in such a way that as it ripens, as it turns black, it says words like, "You're a sucker."
Feed me money. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the story gets more interesting because apparently someone ate the banana.
No.
Yep. Fox News reports a New York man eats art-based banana. Remember the banana duct taped to a wall, labeled art that sold for $120,000? On Saturday, a New York man walked up to the art installation and ate the banana. The banana art titled Comedian is now the work of Italian artist Maurizio Catalan. It's a part of Emmanuel Perotin's outer gallery wall in Art Basel in Miami Beach. The piece sold for $120,000 to a French art collector around 1:45 p.m. in front of a convention center full of art lovers. New York-based, I got to click this, New York-based performance artist David DeTuna ate the banana. Gallery representatives told the Miami Herald he called it hungry artists.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So there's like double the stupid involved here.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know how that works, folks, but there you have it.
Hey, Paranormal White Noise, Zara from Paranormal White Noise says
Zara.
hi.
Hi, Zara. Where you been? Where you been?
Ah,
We've missed you.
well, you know, she's over in Germany, so
That's
that's a
true.
big time difference there.
It is. It's
Yep.
a tough stretch, but it's
It
great
is.
to see you. Thanks for stopping in.
She's just wanted me to let you know before she fell asleep.
Aw, well, thank you for coming in. And that's going to wrap up the news, folks.
Wow.
Wow, how about that, Don?
Wow.
How's that for silly?
You know, I got to tell you, you know, $120,000 for a banana. Oh, gosh. And yeah, you can probably reuse the duct tape like one time to like wrap bananas, but that'd be about it.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, the whole thing though, it's bananas.
Well, you know what I'm thinking, Don, is we
What's-
go to the supermarket, get a
Right.
dozen bananas,
Right.
and we're probably good for a while.
Hey, you know what? Zara says she's good, by the way, and she misses both of us.
Aw.
You know what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to go get me some, like, you know, cheap beef jerky, and I'm going to staple it to a board, and I'm going to call it Done Meat.
Call it dead meat.
Dead meat. There you go. That's even better. You get 10%.
Okay. Of $120,000, I'll take it all day long.
No doubt.
All right, folks, there you go. So we're going to move into the regularly scheduled part of the program, which is more of the paranormal, as it were. That's so dumb. I can't believe how stupid people are with their money, though. How do you have that much money where it goes, you know, I could own that.
You know what? I think I'll just drop like $200,000 on it.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. It's so dumb. I just can't get my head around how stupid that is. But there's people that just shouldn't have money.
Yeah. No
They
doubt.
should not have that much money because they obviously are not being responsible.
That depends on what your definition of responsible is.
Well, I've got a few of them, but that one is definitely interesting. But I've got an article here that I thought was really interesting, and it's kind of one of those things that I don't know. Whenever weird things turn up and weird creatures turn up, people are oftentimes like, "Wow, you know, it's nothing we got around here." And granted, you know, it turns out in some cases it isn't, but it isn't necessarily a cryptid either.
That's true.
And here we have an article, ladies and gentlemen, from WLWT.com, which is the news channel 5. And it's monkey shows up on Kentucky grandpa's porch and then befriends the family. So I don't know if I should read it or just play it.
What you read is, well, you can't. You're not going to play the volume.
Well, if it's just a newscast, it's no problem.
Oh,
but
that's true. Yeah.
we can play newscasts, but let's just play this and see. Is this the play? No, this is just a picture of a play. Let's see if we can actually play.
There you go. Or is that just
Well, let me just read it here.
Okay.
Kentucky woman got a furry surprise Monday afternoon when she saw with her own eyes a real-life monkey on her grandfather's porch. The bizarre chain of events started when Audrey Lewis' grandfather told her he had seen a monkey outside his home in Owen County. You know, she was going, Grandpa, we probably should have your meds checked. But Grandpa wasn't far off the mark. We thought he was just messing with us or seeing things, Lewis told sister station WLKY TV. But no, Grandpa's not crazy. The next day, he called my aunt and told her the same thing. So finally, Monday afternoon, I stopped by his house, and sure enough, there's a monkey on his porch, Lewis said. Lewis said the monkey was curious about the house and not afraid of people. She, the monkey, actually tried opening the screen door on her own, and at one point, she did come in the house, Lewis said. Before letting the monkey in, Lewis checked with a primate specialist to make sure it didn't carry any diseases, and prior to the confirmation, she left food outside for her. Eventually, Lewis and the monkey became friends, and the story is adorable. That looks adorable. She was too smart to catch her in a trap, so the next day I went to his house by myself and took a banana with me. I sat outside, and she would come over and grab bites of the banana from me. Then all of a sudden, she grabbed my fingers and started licking the banana off. And after that, she found some AA batteries somewhere and was playing with them. I went and sat with her, and she walked over and handed me a battery, and we rolled them back and forth to each other. That's pretty much when she decided we were friends, Lewis recounted. Once they got acquainted, Lewis said the monkey curled up in a ball and fell asleep in her lap. It broke my heart because I felt like I was breaking her trust, but while she was asleep, I wrapped the blanket around her and put her in the cage. I was afraid if we didn't catch her then, the officers would have to use more aggressive methods, and she didn't deserve that, Lewis said. Now the monkey is at a primate rehab in Nicholasville, and Lewis said this is likely where she'll live the rest of her life. The workers there told Lewis that the monkey is a girl and that she's only about a year old.
Wow.
How the monkey got to Grandpa's house and who she belonged to first still remains a mystery. Mm-hmm. Wow, how about that?
Oh yeah, but that is kind of heartbreaking that you have to, wrap it up and do something else with the poor thing. But
sure,
at least there's others of its kind there.
Right, and it's going to be cared for properly.
Mm-hmm.
And notwithstanding the health issues of a monkey can be, as far as I understand it, primates can be kind of a risk to have as pets because you can actually pass colds and flus and stuff back and forth. Mm-hmm. And so that would be a little more of a deal. Apparently there's some gorillas in the zoo somewhere caught a bunch of COVID.
Wow.
And yeah, I don't remember which zoo I just saw.
Well, remember though, back when COVID hit, dogs were dying of COVID and fish were dying of COVID.
Airplanes were crashing.
COVID.
Yeah.
The pilot got COVID and died en route.
I know. But yeah, it's kind of a cute story though.
Yeah, it's actually a great story.
Yeah. I don't know.
Awesome.
Little monkey shows up, folks. So I guess word to the wise, if your elderly in-law says they saw a monkey,
go check.
Just go check. Yeah, give them the benefit of the doubt.
Grandma, did you take your meds again?
Did you double take your meds, Grandma? No, it was actually a monkey. So
it was Sasquatch. It was 10 feet tall.
Yeah. It was a weird one though. I'm surprised. I'm really curious because there's got to be an interesting backstory to that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Somebody probably had an illegal pet and it got away.
Yep.
Or they just released it and went, be free, I can't take care of you. And that's how it ended up there. But at any rate, interesting story nonetheless. So that's the first one tonight. Here's another one that I thought was extraordinarily interesting. This one might take a little bit, but this is coming from ancientorigins.net. And this is really crazy, folks. So this is a story of a medical mystery of User Montu, why the discovery of a 2,600-year-old knee screw left the experts dumbfounded. And it's crazy, but let's get into this because this blows my mind because I've had these surgeries. I've got knees full of screws, and that's a modern thing. In fact, when I first injured my knees, they couldn't do anything about it because the technology had only just started, and it was only available to like sports stars and
Right.
stuff. And I lived with torn ligaments for years, but finally it filtered down and I could get it replaced. But here you go. It says in 1971, a Rosicrucian museum in California acquired a sealed ancient Egyptian coffin containing the well-preserved mummy of a high-status Egyptian male. More than 2 decades later, a team of scientists made a shocking discovery. The mummy displayed evidence of an advanced surgical procedure carried out nearly 2,600 years ago.
Wow.
Inside the mummy's left knee, which is the same knee as mine, by the way, was a 9-inch metal orthopedic pin that had been inserted with such advanced biomechanical principles that initially scientists could not distinguish it from a modern-day procedure.
Wow.
It says when Rosicrucian Museum acquired the sealed ancient Egyptian coffin back in the 70s, they were unaware that it still contained a mummy. In addition, investigators revealed that this mummy was not the original owner of the sarcophagus.
Oh, wow.
It belonged to a priest named Uzumontu, the power of Montu, and that long after death, the mummy had been placed in Uzumontu's coffin, and nevertheless, the mummy of unknown origin has come to be known by the name of the original sarcophagus owner.
Sure.
Analysis of the embalming procedure revealed that Uzumontu was an upper-class Egyptian male who lived during the New Kingdom of Egypt between the 16th and 11th century BC. His mummified remains are 5 feet tall and display traces of red hair.
Wow.
Yeah. It says in August 1995, Professor Wilfred Griggs from Brigham Young University, Utah, and a team of experts carried out x-rays on 6 mummies housed in the Rosicrucian San Jose Museum in advance of a lecture that would be given there, including the mummy of Uzumontu. And they were stunned when the x-rays revealed that one of the mummies had a 9-inch metal pin in its left knee. 9 inches is huge, too.
Yeah.
Mine were much smaller. In BYU reports that it was impossible to see that the metal implant was ancient from the x-ray alone, leading Professor Griggs to believe that the pin had been placed there in more modern times to reattach the leg to the rest of the body.
The length of that would make sense.
Yeah. I assumed at the time the pin was modern. I thought we might be able to determine how the pin had been inserted into the leg and perhaps even guess how recently it had been implanted into the bones. Griggs said in a report released by BYU, I just thought it would be an interesting footnote to say somebody's got an ancient mummy and put a modern pin in it to hold the leg together. But he says, in order to investigate the nature of the implant, Dr. Griggs, Dr. Richard T. Jackson, an orthopedic surgeon from Provo, and Dr. E. Bruce McCliff, chief of radiology for Utah Valley Regional Medical Center, carefully drilled into the bone to allow access for a tiny camera to examine the pin and to extract samples of the bone and the metal. The scientific team found traces of ancient organic resin similar to modern bone cement,
Wow.
as well as traces of ancient fats, textiles still held firmly in place. Extensive investigations revealed that the advanced procedure had been carried out in ancient times, approximately 2,600 years ago.
Crazy.
That
oh,
is
look
amazing.
at that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Gosh.
Oof,
That's like right through the knee.
that is not bending, is it?
No.
That's locked.
Yeah, that would, yeah. Wow.
The research team was astounded that the pin had been created with the same designs used today to create bone stabilization. We're amazed at the ability to create the pin with biomechanical principles that we still use today. Rigid fixation of the bone, for example, said Dr. Richard Jackson. It's beyond anything we anticipated for that time. BYO reports that the pin tapers into a corkscrew as it enters the femur or thigh bone, similar to biomechanical methods currently used. The other end of the pin, which is positioned in the tibia or shin bone, has 3 flanges extending outward from the core of the pin to prevent rotation of the pin inside the bone.
Wow.
Wow, is right. It says, following the remarkable discovery, the question left on everyone's lips was, had the surgery been carried out while Uzumontu was alive or after his death? A full-scale investigation of the exposed joint revealed that the pin had been implanted between the time of Uzumontu's death and his burial.
Oh.
The ancient Egyptians believed in a physical resurrection after death, in which the body was a vehicle for the soul in the afterlife. Thus, ensuring its integrity was of utmost importance. Griggs added that making sure the body was in good condition was believed to be essential for the reunification of body and spirit.
Right.
While this is the first case of metal orthopedic implants, other examples of bodily care prior to mummification included the repair of wounds, worked teeth, and construction of prosthetics. Oh, look at that. They got a fake foot. It says how fascinating that the technician took such considerable thought constructing the pin, Griggs says. The technician could have simply simply wired the leg together and assumed that the resurrection would knit back together. The story tells us how sophisticated ancient people really were. Griggs says sometimes our cultural arrogance gets in the way of our being able to appreciate how people from other cultures and times were able to also think and act in quite amazing ways. What do you think of that, Don?
I think that's incredible. You know, even if it was put in after death, you know, before embalming, you know, just the idea that you would need the 3 phalanges in the shin bone to stop it from corkscrewing its way out. I mean, come on, really?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that was some time put into that because, you know, the guy was dead. It's not like he was really going to be walking around and it'd be unscrewing itself, right? But still, you know, just the idea that they had the idea that it needed to be there.
Yeah.
You know, that's just incredible.
And that they would do it in such a way as it would duplicate how it would be done today.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's just like maybe some ideas are as good as it gets, you know?
Yeah.
Like that was brilliant and it still survives. Not that it was somehow carried through to today, but that it's still a good idea even today is really cool. Oftentimes we think back to these ancient cultures and we think, yeah, they were kind of backwards, superstitious, weird people, but maybe not. Maybe they were just like us.
You know, there's evidence of people doing intracranial surgeries, and they're putting the bone back and mending it and that kind of thing. And what was another one? There was
Get the leeches.
there was teeth. They were doing like, you know, implants.
Sure.
Well, you know, more like braces to hold teeth in, but still, you know, it's just incredible what you know what we find.
Right. That's really crazy stuff. But, you know, being as I have a little bit of hardware myself, I found that very interesting.
Yeah, no doubt.
Wow. There you have it, folks. It ain't just today. It's been going on for a while. I don't know if there's, you know, it's just weird. Was this a one-time idea or was this a common thing?
Yeah.
That's what you got to wonder.
True enough.
And did they ever do it on a living person? Like, oh, you know, your shin fell off, but I think we can put it back on.
And they only assume that it's the original owner of the. They say that it was placed in the sarcophagus.
Yeah,
so it's not even the original one. So maybe
somebody didn't make the rent or something.
Yeah,
on that
exactly.
Like,
You're getting
get him out of there. Let's move the other one in. Move in, Stumpy.
This guy had more money.
Stumpy can afford it. Let's go. Wow, there you go. I don't know, folks. This is no answers. I got no answers for you, but it's just strangeness. It's what we love here on the show, though. There is no question. And finally, I'm going to finally get to this.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I'm actually going to read the whole thing because there's only a very little bit about this that I think will be interesting.
Right.
And the rest will be just a lot of technical, I don't know, fluff.
I was about to say, how's our time? But it's Wednesday. We have.
Hey, we got all the time we want.
We got all night if we want.
We don't need no stinking breaks.
No.
Nope.
Well, that's until we're like 2-3 bottles of water in, and it's 45 minutes, and it's like, oh my god.
Till I get some dental work on my own, going, my teeth are floating done. All right, but we're going to continue on. This is an article from Vice.com. And I don't know if it's interesting or not. I don't even know if it's valid or not for our show, but I'm going to crack into it and we'll see. If not, we'll kill it quick.
Certainly.
All right, so this is why Channel 37 doesn't exist and what it has to do with aliens. So since the analog television's Channel 37 has always been static, here's why. Well, okay, so wait a minute. Full stop.
Okay.
I had grown up with a television. Mm-hmm. My family had
channels.
We didn't. We had 3 channels.
3 channels that came in.
Right. We were out in the boonies, and we had Channel 2, which was PBS.
Nice.
We had Channel 4, which is CBS. 5 was ABC. 9 was something else like KMSP, and then 10 or 11 was the NBC affiliates.
Okay.
That was it. everything after that was static. So I don't know who had enough channels that they could figure out 37 was not going to work. I don't know how that works, but none of ours worked past 11 until the UHF craze came in, and then we had like 29 for a while, kind of. But
kind of like Weird Al. UHF.
Yes, yeah. we got one channel for sure with UHF, and then kind of static. We could pull in another one if you kept monkeying with the antenna. It was really stupid.
Here, hold on to the end of the rabbit ears there, and put your arm up and
lift your leg.
Yeah, exactly.
Lick your fingers and touch the curtain rod. Yeah, that's all that dumbness. But like, so
we got potatoes and aluminum foil?
But I had a friend in town who they had cable, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever because there was like TV on all the time and movie channels. There was like, there was the movie channel and HBO, I think were at the time or something. But I thought that was amazing. But that was only 13 channels.
The movie channel, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I don't know whoever got up to 37, but it wasn't in our neck of the woods.
Wow.
I don't think now we got those dishes and everything that bring in, hundreds of channels. But yeah, anyway.
I don't even have that. I just got this little stick that I plugged into the back of my TV, and now I got anything I want to watch.
Oh, well, yeah, that's internet TV.
Yeah,
that's a little different. That's a little different. So it says a version of this post, well, who cares? Blah, 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 nearly 5 years ago, 1952. The year, I don't know, what am I reading here? Okay. Nah, it's just a bunch of fluffy stuff at the front here. So the year that the U.S. Federal Communications Commission opened up the television system to use UHF for ultra high frequency signals. 1952? We didn't see that until like the 80s. But the practical effect of this addition, or bandwidth, was that the total number of potential TV stations increased dramatically from 108 to 2,051 overnight.
Maybe across the United States.
I don't know. Potential TV stations increased dramatically. We just did that. The first UHF applications were granted on July 11th, 1952, according to the History of UHF Television, a site dedicated to the higher frequency television offerings. Yeah, we never had any of those. So the radio telescope that became a headache for the television industry. Within the 600-mile radius of the city of Danville, Illinois, population 31,246, are numerous major cities, among them Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Minneapolis, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Toronto, and Washington, D.C. Nearly the entire length of the Mississippi River fits into that radius.
Wow.
Danville was located just a little further to the east of the radius that would also include Philadelphia and New York City. For all intents and purposes, a 600-mile radius from East Illinois covers basically the entire East Coast, except for the state of Florida and the Northeast. Importantly to the story, New Jersey generally does not fall into the 600-mile radius. But there was something located in Danville that was important enough to scientists that they didn't want to share it with anyone else. And that thing was a 400-foot wide radio telescope operating along the 610 megahertz frequency. It was something of a monster of an astronomy at the time, operating 12 to 16 hours per day. And researchers at the University of Illinois aimed to keep it that way. The research that led to the creation of the radio telescope was basically an accident, but a fundamental one that taught us more about the universe than we might have learned with a mere optical telescope. Okay, I'm bored already. How are you doing, Don?
I'm actually interested.
Okay, I'll keep going. In 1931, a radio engineer and Bell Laboratories employee named Carl Jansky was trying to uncover the source of static and was interfering with radio waves, and he found it had extraterrestrial source, particularly the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Jansky wasn't an astronomer, but an engineer, and despite discovering a new field of astronomy, his position at Bell Labs did not allow him to pursue it further. But after World War II ended, others eventually did pursue radio astronomy, including George McVitie, a British cosmologist who built the astronomy department at the University of Illinois in the 1950s, and George Swenson, who helped build the university's radio telescope. Speaking to the Royal Astronomical Society, a part of the oral history in 1978, McVitie, who played a central role in the creation of the telescope, stated that the device was developed in the late 1950s with the goal of being cost effective. Well, we wanted to build this parabolic cylinder, and I sent George Swenson on a tour of radio astronomy outfits in the world, Austria, England, and so on. And he came back with the idea of a parabolic cylinder, a fixed transmitter instrument that sweeps out of the sky simply by the Earth's rotating. And we decided for engineering reasons that we could only build a really big one if we had a frequency around about 600 megahertz. Otherwise, the perfection of the reflector, if we went to a shorter wavelength, was not something that you could do by the acre, at least not at that time, which was the late 1950s. And so we picked upon the 610 megahertz band as the observing frequency.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you good now?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I'm good too. So
because the point is that channel 37 ran along that 610
megahertz
frequency, and so they didn't want people hearing things from space
right
before the scientists could get a hold of it.
That's right.
That's the whole story right there, baby.
They did not want people
That's correct.
hearing that stuff before it was their time.
It could have led to somebody else finding the wow signal.
Sure, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows what other interference that would bring to the purity of the waves they were receiving, if you had other things operating in that frequency range.
Pink Floyd just went through my head.
What?
Comfortably numb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the waves we were receiving.
Oh, gotcha. We just listened to that.
We
song.
just listened to it. That's probably why it was in my head.
Just prior to the show, that was a prep song. We No. We're not going to do that. How's the chat doing?
Chat's doing great.
Okay.
Yeah, they're having a good old time.
Okay. All right. Good to hear it. I just needed to check. All right, folks, we're going to dive into some articles here.
Sweet.
That have to do with the paranormal goodness you've come to love from the portal. And this is one from Factinate that we've been going through for a while now. It's bone-chilling moments we'll never able to explain. And it's an article from Factinate.com. We're on number 57. And by God, we're going to go a little further. Are you ready, Don?
Let's do this.
Do this?
D-I-S. Dis.
All right.
Let's do this.
It says this
Coffee
one is
and whiskey. Oh, Viva.
frighteningly accurate. My dad watched his mother die of a ruptured gallbladder when he was 12
Ouch.
and still remembers it vividly. Aw.
I bet.
My sister one day randomly gets up almost an hour after she's gone to bed and goes up to him. The conversation went like this. My sister says, Daddy, your mommy died in a red sweater, jeans, and sneakers, and with her hair in a ponytail, right? And her hair was blonde. Dad drops the book he's reading and stares wide-eyed and says, Yes. What color were her eyes? Blue. Why? Oh, she doesn't have them anymore, just empty sockets. I was curious.
Wow.
And she goes right back to bed.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Wow, those two blue eyes, one blue left, one blue right.
Oh, no. That's horrible. That's not what you want to hear. This is not what you want to hear of your loved one.
No, and you don't want to hear it from your daughter either.
Your little innocent child daughters.
Yeah, she was here, but she don't got eyes anymore.
Yeah.
She even said empty sockets.
Empty sockets.
Oh, my goodness.
I was just curious. Oh, no. That's horrible. And then she goes right back to bed, it says.
It's like, okay, well,
I bet
thanks,
your dad
honey.
didn't for a while.
Probably not.
Oh.
He's probably walking in that room going, checking the closet, under the bed, lifting the blankets, making sure there's nothing under there.
Jimmy hacked phone and I don't care. Instead of Jimmy cracked corn, there you go.
That's witty.
I guess so. I didn't write it down. I just read it. I moved into a house that was almost 100 years old. After about a year of living there, I was sitting alone painting one day when Alexa burst out, Yes, Diana, it's Jimmy's favorite song, and then proceeds to play Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
Wow.
Diana is the name of the lady who previously owned the house and has been dead for about 5 years. Jimmy was her cello-playing husband, who after Diana died, moved into a senior assisted living community.
Wow.
Ah, we just had one of these come across on God, what is it, the Paranormal Portal fans page?
What?
Yeah, somebody was talking about this.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was Linda. I think she's talking about her Alexa. She was downstairs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and her Alexa said something about
Mike.
There's
Mike.
Mike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alexis. There's too many mics available.
Online.
Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially, just talking out and dropping the name Mike, and Mike, of course, is one of her. She has a past with this name, and it's been experiencing his presence. So, very powerful. Very, very powerful. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be something if the Alexa has become the new way to talk with spirits?
No doubt, the new spirit boxes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Alexa, is there someone in the house right now? I have connected with Mike. Would you like to speak to him?
Mike says to say hello. All right, so
I'd only worry if Karen walked in.
Karen.
I'm sorry. We have a chatter named Karen, and all love to everyone.
We love Karens too. All right, number 59, knocking on heaven's window.
No.
During my freshman year of college, I lived on the 4th floor of my dorms. It was wintertime and there was snow on the ground, and it was probably around 3, maybe 4 in the morning. My roommate and I both had randomly woken up, but we were talking as we just thought each other was sleeping. Then we suddenly both heard very clear, loud knocking on our window. We both said, "Did you hear that?" And we were kind of spooked. 15 minutes went by and nothing happened, and I was starting to fall back to sleep when there it was again, 4 loud knocks. At this point, I was shaking because in my mind, someone had somehow climbed up onto our window and was trying to scare us. So I got up and pulled the blinds back to look for someone, but no one was there. No footprints in the snow either. Nothing. So I got back in bed. After 5 minutes or so went by, we heard the knocking again, and this time it was coming from what sounded like the neighbor's window. Sure enough, we heard our neighbor say, "Dude, what the hell?" and then shuffle around a little. 2 minutes later, it sounded like every single window on our floor was being knocked on for about 7 seconds straight.
Wow.
Just absolutely insane.
Crazy.
People started screaming, and we could hear people opening their doors and running across the halls into their friend's room because they were terrified. It kept happening for probably 2 more hours, but only at specific intervals every 15 to 30 minutes. Every time I was about to fall asleep, it happened again. It was a very long night. No one ever found out what it really was, as far as I know. Yeah, that's terrifying. All right, the next one is waking nightmare. Mm-hmm. My son was too. He's in a pattern of waking us up at about 5 a.m. every morning.
Good God.
One morning, I took him downstairs and plopped him in front of the TV so I could try to go back and sleep for about 30 minutes on the couch right by him. Well, I woke up a few minutes later, and he was standing in the foyer pointing into the kitchen, laughing, and then he said, "Mommy's floating in the kitchen."
Oh, wow.
And I didn't think much of it, went back to sleep for a bit. About 30 minutes later, his mom came downstairs, having just woken up, saying she had one of those weird dreams where she flew out of her body, went downstairs, and found herself in the kitchen.
Oh, wow.
Freaky.
Wow, that's cool. You know, the mom's having out-of-body experiences, and the kids are seeing them.
The kids see
How you doing, Mom?
Hey,
Are you
Mom.
awake yet?
Can I have cereal now? Yeah.
Can I make you breakfast in bed? Would you like burned eggs and burned down house?
Maybe. Beyond the Veil is next.
Crazy.
I died when I was 7 years old for about 2 minutes. I guess technically it was a near-death experience, even though I was lying in a hospital bed. I remember sitting down at a dining table with my uncle who had passed away when I was 2. He gave me a glass of milk and said, "Not today." I survived, obviously, but I'll never forget that moment.
Wow. So the uncle gave you milk, and it woke you up instead of put you to sleep.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow.
So this one is a Picky Phantom, number 62. I live in my family's ancestral house, and there was lots of weird occurrences, but one of the most interesting ones happened to my sister. And it says she said when she played certain kinds of music, Elvis especially, she always heard lots of noise, like someone was hitting the wall or stomping around, even though nobody was home. It always stopped as soon as she stopped playing the music. I later found out that my great uncle hated Elvis and would throw a fit when anyone tried to play it. And he didn't forget that. How could you hate Elvis? He's the king.
I don't like Elvis.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, Don. Enough out of you. All right, grim precognition. Grim precognition. Blech. My great uncle used to have dreams that made him certain that he was going to die before his junior year of high school. But that wasn't the most disturbing part. For some reason, he was sure it would be a family member who killed him. Then the summer before his junior year, he and his older brothers were out for a summer drive in a convertible in the 50s with no seatbelts. In the back of the car, his older brother took a turn too hard and fast and rolled the car. Well, they all lived except for the youngest brother. Then, when they were going through his notebooks after his funeral, they found drawings of the church where the funeral had been held.
Wow.
The church was 7 towns over, and he had never been there. So there was no way he could have drawn a picture of it. He not only knew he would die and that a family member would kill him, he even knew the church where his funeral would be held.
Wow.
That's crazy, huh?
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's like...
Well, but it was an accident.
Sure.
He didn't kill him.
Right.
Yeah, but, yeah.
It wasn't malicious, but it was certainly a death, wrongful death or whatever.
True, yeah.
All right, number 64. There's something in the lake.
In the lake. Oh, gosh.
When I was a teenager, I was alone in a rowboat in the middle of a small lake. About a mile or two long, by no more than 200 yards at its widest. I was mostly enjoying the day, but I dropped a lure into the water, expecting nothing. Almost as an afterthought, something big grabbed it and pulled hard enough for the entire boat to be pulled about 10 feet and turned 180 degrees. Force transferred in the boat via my fishing rod and my death grip on it. The line snapped, and that was the end of it. Prior to this, my friend who lived on the lake had told a few friends and me that one morning, waiting for the school bus, he saw a huge living thing in the lake. He described it as being the size of a car and brown, to the best of my recollection. He refused to swim in the lake from then on. He wore mild prescription glasses, and of course, due to this, we teased him mercilessly about seeing the lake monster, but whatever took my lure that day was big. I'd like to think it was just a huge carp, but I don't know. I've fished on the Mississippi a lot, and there's lots of legends, and of course the channel cats are supposed to be these huge things.
Right.
And I'll tell you though, there were times I was fishing once in this park called Colville Park, and it was kind of a backwater cut in from the main body of the river, and I was just casting with like a spoon, and something hit it, and whatever hit it was, I used like pretty good test,
Right.
So it shouldn't have popped or anything, but whatever hit it, like the whole water just swirled, and it's like one jerk, and my line sounded like a gun went off, just pop, and it was gone. Just one jerk, and it was gone. So
Wow.
I think I might have snagged one of those big cats, one of those huge catfishes that just lay in the slime and get fat. Because, man, that swirled up the water, and it was like right now. There was nothing. There was no fighting it. There was no even
It was just
doing
gone.
anything. It was just, it decided to be gone, and my line went, okay.
All right, I give up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was it. But there are things, especially in those muddy waters, you just don't know what the hell's down there.
The muddy waters
That's-
of the mighty Mississippi.
That's exactly it. So this is the uninvited guest.
I'm sorry. I thought I was supposed to be here.
You were.
Oh.
It's not you, Don.
Oh, dang it.
Not everything's about
oh,
you.
That's good. Oh, that's bad.
Woke up one night to see my mom looking into my room watching me sleep. I asked her what she wanted, and she just shut my door. Took a few minutes for my sleep-addled brain to realize I was 25 years old and living on my own at the time.
Wow.
What followed was a thorough search by a naked, sleepy man holding a chopping knife, looking for whoever was in my apartment. All the doors were locked, all the windows were locked, and no one was there.
Sleepy naked man with a knife.
Sleeping,
That's intimidating.
sleeping in the raw. That's just, yeah, no, nope. All right, this one's called Guardian Angel. Oh,
I'm
jeez.
trying not to make it go south.
That's always a hard gesture here on the show, Don. Hard gesture for sure.
Especially for a naked man with a knife.
All right, Guardian Angel. This one should be heartening. I was 8 months pregnant with my second child. Is that the minion?
Yeah, I think he's running around.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. I thought I just saw him.
Yeah, I think I just
in the
did too.
reflection of the TV.
I saw a little hand go by, so I'm pretty sure he's running laps out there, trying to be hidden. I was 8 months pregnant with my second child, and I had to take my mom to a doctor's appointment. And she was getting a procedure and could not drive home after. I had my not quite 2-year-old with me. He was in the back seat behind my mom in his car seat. And I was driving a Jeep Wrangler. Well, I pulled up to the intersection to make a left turn. I was in the crosswalk and the light turned red. I heard a man's voice tell me to back up now. Well, I put the car in reverse and backed up just out of the crosswalk. I did not have time to look up or to put the car back in drive when I heard a loud crash. 2 cars collided in front of me, and an SUV was where my car just was.
Wow.
On my hood was the headlight cover for the SUV. As the police, fire department, and EMS showed up, they wanted to treat me since I was really pregnant, and I had to keep telling them that we were not involved in the accident. One EMS guy picked up the plastic on my hood and said, "How?" I told him what I heard, and he said, "I guess you have an angel."
Wow.
My mom did not hear a thing. I still don't know what that was. That's some divine intervention right there.
That's true.
That's beautiful is what that is. All right, this one's called Dialing Sean. I got a phone call from a voice I didn't recognize, an older woman who asked me how my son Sean was doing. My son's name is Sean, so I thought she must be a distant relative that I just couldn't place. And we talked awkwardly for about a minute on our lives, catching up on how my sister Sasha was doing in school and how my mother's surgery went. I mentioned my aunt, and the woman became confused. Who? She asked a few more questions, and it became clearly obvious. We didn't know each other at all. She had dialed the wrong number, looking for her niece, and happened to reach a person with the same name, with a son named Sean, a sister named Sasha, that was in school, and a mother who recently had surgery. And I can't imagine the chances of that happening by accident, but it still sends a chill down my spine.
Yeah, definitely.
That's wild.
Yep.
What are the odds, Don?
I don't know.
Go buy a lottery ticket, right?
Have you ever taken your phone number and dialed your phone number but changed the last number to the next number up? So like if it ended with a 4, you dialed a 5?
No. Have you?
It was crazy.
You did it?
Yeah.
What happened?
Your phone number neighbors. Oh, it just the person hung up on me, but I mean, that's whatever.
Did you actually talk?
No.
Oh, okay.
They said, "I don't know you. I don't know your name." I'm like, "I don't know anybody with your name." Well, I was calling about your car's insurance, your car's warranty.
Your car's extended warranty is about to expire.
I was like, well, okay.
Right. Number 68 is Creeped Out Critter. God, there's a creeped out critter here, Don.
Wow.
Special hello to my brother Jeff, who's out there watching.
Nice.
And Barb, they're out there watching too. So.
Excellent.
Excellent that you're here portaling with us. Thank you. Thank you for the support. All right. Family.
Yay for family.
All right. Family vibes. All right. Here we go. Creeped Out Critter. August 1998. I'm in the passenger seat of my uncle's truck as we're driving up the windy. It's hard to figure out which word to use.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes, but you got to get through the context first. So, windy gravel road to his friend's cabin, which is in a very, very remote forested part of Washington State. As we reach the top of the hill, I'm about to get out of the truck when he says, "Hey, don't move, but look," in a kind of sharp whisper, pointing to the patch of trees surrounding the parking area. I'm looking but not seeing anything when this thing moves out from the edge of the gravel lot into another group of trees, and I saw its face.
Oh.
I kid you not, it's a freaking upright walking ape. It must have been a young one because it was only about 5.5 feet tall, but it freezes, looks in our direction, kind of moves its head around in a circular motion like an owl, and then stops and crouches down. And I'll never forget the expression on its face. The poor thing looked almost comically terrified, like it had a visible frown. My uncle says My uncle tells me to slowly open the door so we can try to approach it. Are you crazy? But as soon as he opens his door, this thing kind of grabs a small handful of gravel and sticks and chucks it in our direction and then books it through the tree line. My head was racing, and it took a long time to calm down after that. I will never, ever forget that day.
Mm-hmm.
What is he going to try to grab it? Are you stupid? What is that on the stupid meter, Don? That's got to be like...
I don't know. That rates right up there with the kids in whatever trying to pick up the little tiny G.I. Joe action figure Martians.
Aliens, yeah, the action figures. Yeah, but this is... I mean, if there's a little one, how far away do you suppose the big mean one is?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
It's like, let's go pet the bear cub.
Where's the mama?
That's the same kind of intelligence
Yeah,
working here. If you see a small one, you should probably assume there's a big one somewhere.
Yep.
And it's not going to want you to come pet the kid. All right. So anyway, note to self, leave them alone. Just watch them and enjoy the experience because I don't think they want to be petted.
I was at work one day about 8 years ago, and we had this atrium. The lunchroom opened up into this grass area that backed up to the next to the big tree line, right? And there would be like moose that would come into that lawn, and bear, and people would run outside to take pictures of them.
Oh no!
I'm like, are you freaking crazy? It's only a moose. Yeah, that moose can flip your vehicle. Yeah. And I don't mean your little Prius. I mean like your big SUV.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to do to you, dummy? And bears? Are you kidding me? Oh, man. They'd be like, oh, it's so cute. Yeah, until it rips your guts open.
Everything's cute until it starts chewing on you.
Yeah, including
Once
koalas.
they start chewing on you, then it gets all kinds of serious.
Not so much fun.
Yeah.
Hey, you can put an eye out with that thing.
Well, moose kill more people than deer or than bear.
Well, of course they kill more people than deer.
All
but yeah,
right.
bear, yeah, absolutely. No, you're right.
I mean, they're way more aggressive than most other animals out there, especially the males. Or a mom with a youngin.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
You're just asking for problems. Wow.
Room for one more is next, 69. It says, I was in my little 16-foot aluminum boat fishing around Charleston when I hear a voice, clear as day, move over. Well, I immediately jumped up and looked around. No one. It was just really weird and scared the heck out of me. Literally, the closest person was standing at a fishing dock, maybe half a mile away. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's creepy, but funny. I think somebody's got to be getting a kick out of themselves. Like, hey, watch this.
We have 12 thumbs down.
We do?
12.
That's a new record.
Yeah, that's like, wow.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just turn that frown upside down, shall we?
Just give them a big old middle finger.
That's why I was wondering about the chat, because we've had this person coming in and trolling quite a bit lately.
Wow, yeah.
And I know they got about 15 accounts, so because every night that they're on, we tend to get the thumbs down parade, but that's okay.
If they're not saying anything, we can't do anything about it,
Well, it's just, everybody wants to create a show in their own image, so that sometimes works out, sometimes it doesn't. But
we call it jealousy.
This is my show, and this is how my show works. Wow. If you don't like my show, then you can just find another show. Get the hell out.
GTFO.
That's all you got to do is just change the channel. It's a beautiful thing. All right, so number 70. New life, new family. My 17-year-old told me that his old family died in a fire with him, and now he has a new family, ours. He told me the names of his siblings. What is he, 7? Oh, 7-year-old. Sorry, I said 17. He told me the names of his siblings and that his parents looked like, what his parents looked like, what the house looked like, and when he died. He gave me so much detail. I wrote it all down as he talked, and after he went to bed, I looked it up, and everything he said matched this one old news story.
Wow.
Everything he said fit. The news story I had never even heard before, and it happened about 1.5 years before he was even conceived.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep. Old souls.
Old souls, indeed. Number 71, what happened in Argentina?
Stays in Argentina?
I don't know if it works on the Vegas rules or not, but
right.
maybe. For some reason, I blocked out my childhood memories, We used to live in Argentina, and I don't remember anything about what we did or where we lived, unless I look at photos. About the earliest memories I have are of 3rd and 4th grade here in the U.S. I've spoken to my mom about it, and she's worried that something happened that caused me to block those memories. I thought it was normal not to remember things from childhood, but I seriously don't remember anything. I don't know. It depends on what version of childhood we're talking about. Like the first 5 years, if you don't remember, yeah, that's kind of standard.
Pretty standard. Yeah, you'll have spotty memories.
Yeah.
You know?
But, yeah, it's not remembering. I don't know if that's anything to get real worried about.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'd really hate to remember, doing something stupid at the age of 3 and being in trouble for it. I mean, I can pass on that one. That's not a big deal.
Just leave that in the past.
I can tell you this, though. I know I learned from it because I don't do it anymore.
Well, that's all about learning.
That's right.
72. Good luck trying to figure this one out, folks. When I was young, I was at the cottage with my family. All day Saturday, something was off, and it culminated in a bizarre standoff. The next day, everyone said it was just a dream, but I've got proof that it wasn't. Here's what happened. For as long as I can remember, there's been an abandoned lot near my parents' cabin. One day I woke up expecting to have pancakes with my grandparents, but everything felt off. So I go downstairs and notice no one was in the kitchen. Walk outside and see all my family adults in a kind of semicircle facing an older man and a woman that I don't recognize. I assume this is some adult situation, so I go back inside to hang out with my cousins until the adults came back in. My aunt was pale as a sheet, and I went to ask what's wrong. She took me outside and pointed to the aforementioned abandoned lot. In its place was a sprawling cabin mansion.
Oh.
My aunt says the people outside were the owners who had come to say hi. She looked freaked out, but as she asked me if I had seen that massive cabin mansion last night. Last year, the year before, had I ever seen any construction? No, I hadn't.
Oh.
Then my grandpa sat me down and told me not to go over there. He said that the couple didn't act right. I assumed that he meant they were rude and that we just should keep to ourselves this weekend. I agreed and went about our day, all adults keeping us occupied with activities, either inside or behind the cabin, and we get ready for bed when I see my great-granddad, World War II vet, loading 3 shotguns, handing one off to my grampy and the other one to my uncle. I wake up the next day to the smell of pancakes and the sound of adults chatting downstairs. I'm sad because today is when we have to pack and leave.
Right.
But things seem back to normal, so I'm very glad. I run downstairs, dig into my breakfast, and ask my aunt, what time do we have to leave? Leave? We don't leave until tomorrow. Wait, what day is this? It's Saturday. We just got here last night. I noticed just a bit of doubt in my aunt's eyes that I know something is up, and I run outside. The abandoned lot is back to its decrepit state.
Wow.
At the time, I just believed them when they said that we'd just gotten there the night before. It wasn't until I got back to school and was called to the main office that I realized I hadn't just dreamed an entire day up. They asked why I wasn't at school on Monday, and I told them that today was Monday. No, it's Tuesday.
Wow.
My absence was unexplained despite several calls to my parents, neither of whom were at the cabin with the rest of the family. So either my family played the trick of all tricks on me, or I'm living in an alternate universe. Like I said, no one will ever even remotely entertain a conversation about this incident. Will anyone in my family ever admit what really happened?
Wow.
That's really freaky.
That's kind of scary.
That's really freaky.
And it's like that day totally didn't happen.
Right.
Like, it was a time slip.
Right.
Wow.
Very crazy.
Questioning reality.
I don't know what to say about that one, folks. That's creepy. That's like triple creepy because there's a Mandela effect. There's a interdimensional thing cooking. And then there's, I don't know, like mind manipulation or something going on there.
Gaslighting.
Yeah, it could be. God, it's already 8:22. How about that?
Wow.
What was the orange text I saw fly by?
Oh, Aussie made a donation.
Oh, thank you,
Yay.
Aussie.
Give him the clap. There
Thank
you go.
We appreciate that a bunch.
Unfortunately, that $15 would pay for the shot that you need for the club, but whatever.
All right. All right. Sea Spirits is next. And we're going to jump over and do some more trucking stories after this. Trucking. Got my chips cashed in. All right. So sea sprites or spirits. I asked an old fisherman on a beach in Malaysia if he'd ever experienced anything like this. He said there are female spirits in the sea who are basically neutral towards humans, but that you shouldn't be messing with them anyway. One day, a boat sank, and divers were sent to recover bodies, and two of them were searching the seabed, and suddenly one guy feels a tug on his arm, and it's his buddy frantically pointing at the bed. There is a beautifully dressed Malay woman was knelt holding a corpse like an offering to the divers, and both divers fled for their lives and gave up the search. Apparently the woman was one of those spirits. Huh. Well, I don't know. At least she was trying to do the right thing, right?
Yeah, there's somebody dead. See ya.
Hey, is this yours?
Oh, Lou. Thank you, Lou.
Lou?
Yeah, Lou gave. Oh, and Viva. Oh, my goodness. Viva's. Yeah, wow. We're going to be handing out those penicillin shots for a while tonight.
It's like a dream. The joy of love.
And corn dogs.
And corn dogs.
I have no idea what that means.
I don't even know what that means. I was leaving that the hell alone.
Yeah, well,
I was not touching that.
Yeah.
We are not discussing love and corn dogs.
and chocolate sauce.
I just wish you'd stop. Diane, why are you so broken?
Oh my! You give me the beautiful spacey music, and then you want me out. Okay, whatever.
I was doing the beautiful music for the donations.
That's the donations. Sweet. Oh yeah,
that's so sweet. Thank you guys so much for that. That really helps a ton.
Yeah,
it really does. Number 75, and then we're going to move on to the trucker stories. It says, I woke up to what appeared to be my deceased granddad standing by the door, staring at me. What scared the daylights out of me? Suddenly there was a flash, and he was gone. He'd been dead for about 7 or 8 years at this point, and I told my mom about it, and she said he does that often.
Wow. Okay.
See, no, that's cool, though, because...
My grandpa's the Flash.
No, I don't think that's what it's saying, Don.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you got this all wrong.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
I think it's that he's really deceased for 7, 8 years, and he comes in and visits quite often.
Oh, gotcha.
Checks on the family. I think that's beautiful.
That's cool.
I think that's wonderful. More of that should be happening. We're gonna.
She just says he does that often. It's pretty common. Don't worry about it.
He does it often. Just don't give him any attention. All right, so here we go. This is an article we've been working our way through for a while too, and this is trucker stories. Truckers' creepiest moments on the road, and we're on number 84. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Let's see. Okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't something I already read. Okay. So here we go, folks. This is coming from moneymade.com. Money's made on all those advertisements they place, I bet. Look at there's one. I love this Brave browser. It's so awesome. Awesome, I'm telling you. These sites are they're just
littered.
Ad frenzies. All right, so it says, former trucker here. I was driving north through the mountains of Colorado towards Pueblo, and it was my first time dealing with anything like the Rocky Mountains. So I was taking it nice and slow with my hazards on and in the right lane. And this is in the spring, and there wasn't much snow on the ground aside just from a light dusting. Well, I remember passing another truck pulled over on the shoulder on my way up. Nothing out of the ordinary. However, as I was heading down the mountain, which can be scary as heck in an 18-wheeler, I saw the same truck I passed earlier fly past me in the left lane. I did read this one before, but we're going to do a double. You're going to get the repeat performance. Now being passed on the left going downhill in the Rocky Mountains by another tractor trailer is crazy enough. But what really makes this story, the guy's trailer brakes were on fire.
Oh.
He was pulling a load, I could tell, because the trailer was sealed. If you know anything about trucks, you know that there's only so much braking you're supposed to do before they overheat and, worst case, catch fire. This guy's truck looked like a streaking comet as he sped down the mountain at what I thought was surely a deadly pace. I grabbed the mic to the radio and called out to him, "Hey, driver, Your brakes are on fire. I mean, literally on fire. This rough and weathered sound and voice comes back over the speaker of my radio and says, cool as a cucumber. I know. Then he disappeared around a curve. I never saw any wrecked truck, emergency crews, or even mention of an accident over the radio.
Wow.
I did see a discarded fire extinguisher on the ground at the base of the mountain. Oh, man.
Yeah. East County bound for 18 wheels rolling.
Yeah, eastbound and down, folks. That's crazy. I remember what happened is I started reading that and we ended up hitting the music.
Oh, okay.
The end of the show on the network, so that's what
right.
happened.
Yeah.
Never did finish it. Okay, number 85, sliding into my nightmares. A few years back, I was driving up an icy hill in the middle of winter after a snowstorm, when another semi coming down the hill towards me started to jackknife.
Oh.
Sliding back and forth across the road, his trailer swung out sideways, blocking the entire road at around 50 miles an hour.
Wow.
Giving me nowhere to go and no choice but to stop. I tried to back up as quickly as possible to give him a little more space to get his trailer to tuck in back behind him, and thankfully it did, about 50 feet in front of me.
Ooh.
The whole time, all I could think was, I really hope he's empty because this is going to hurt. Yeah, good. That's just one of those thank gods.
Yeah.
All right, feathered friend. My dad was coming back from a route one night when he hears this loud thud, sounded like it came from the front of his truck, and he pulled over and finds that he hit a huge owl and it was lodged in his grill. Also turns out the owl's still alive. This happened at around midnight, so my dad had a great idea and decided to buckle the owl up in the passenger seat.
Hello, alien abduction.
Yeah, it turned so bizarre. For the first owl, the owl was unconscious, but at around 1 a.m., my dad hears the seatbelt move, and he turns to see one angry owl staring at him. One of the owl's eyes was hanging out, and the owl knew that it was my dad's fault. The first thing my dad now notices are the talons on this owl, and how could he easily have torn him up.
Yeah.
Even so, the owl seemed content to stay put, probably because he was pretty beat up. So my dad just turns his head back to the road, and they both have an awkward ride. He pulled over at the next gas station and called the authorities. He was pretty much at the border, so it took a while for both state departments to decide who had to pick up the owl. After that, my dad decided that he has a newfound respect for owls. Yeah, that's just that's ominous.
Ouch.
All right, this one is whiteouts. The most frightening thing that I've had while driving a truck was going over Donner Pass one night on the I-80 towards Sacramento. I had stopped in Reno and checked weather reports, and it was early May or late April. Can't remember now, but there was still a chance of bad road conditions up there. The weather reports only called for light snow flurries, so I went on my way. Well, I got up to the top of the pass, and suddenly the sky just dumped a blizzard. It was almost total whiteout conditions. It was past the chain-up areas and the rest areas, and with no real safe place to stop. I could just barely make out the tracks of a truck ahead of me, and so I slowly followed them, praying that they did not run off the road.
Right.
And now the worst thing about it was the wind. It was blowing hard, making the snow swirl violently in my vision. That caused me to experience this weird vertigo that I had not experienced since. I began to feel like my body was losing which way was up. Fortunately, it didn't last very long, and I got down to the lower elevation, and it suddenly became heavy rain. I was never so happy to see a rainstorm on a mountain that I can ever remember. Mm-hmm. Wow, yeah, that's double tough, man.
Well, and that's Donner Pass.
Yeah,
That's scary enough.
yeah, it's such a helpless feeling to be in a car in a blizzard. It's just the worst feeling because you can't go anywhere. You can't do anything except either park or just keep going as carefully as you can.
And if nobody passes you, start eating like from the toes up.
you start eating your like your seat cushions and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Donner, party of 8.
Yeah, exactly. Seeing red is next. Now, again, folks, not all of these are paranormal, but they are all interesting, so I hope you're enjoying them for what they are. It's a mixed bag, but there are some paranormal good ones in here, too. A friend who is a truck driver told me this one. He was driving through the edge of some bushland on his way back to Perth, Western Australia, when he hit a kangaroo. He stopped the truck, grabbed his flashlight and knife in case he needed to dispatch it, and got out. He went over to the kangaroo, and it needed to be dispatched, as it was alive and in immense pain. But he got this weird feeling that he was being watched. He flashed his light around and saw dozens of pairs of red eyes watching him.
Ooh.
A whole mob of kangaroos was just standing there watching him kill one of their mates. Kangaroo eyes reflect red, and he quickly dispatched the kangaroo, bolted back to his truck, and took off. He said it was the creepiest thing he ever had seen on the road.
Yeah, because kangaroos will kick the crap out of you.
You ever see those big males? They look like they're chimpanzees.
MMA boxers.
Yeah, they're brutes.
Hey, buddy, come on over here. I got a left and a right, and a kick to the solar plexus.
Yeah, I'll give you somebody left, you'll beg for a right.
And he's turning left.
Loaded cargo is number 89, folks. I was a transportation broker for a number of years, and one of those years we obtained government contracts for the transfer of undisclosed hazardous materials, Don.
Wow.
Sure. We were under restrictions to keep everything about these loads confidential, from the trucking companies to whom we brokered these loads with, to their specific locations.
Wow.
Every single day we had to give hourly updates to an internal agency about the status of our drivers. Each load required a team in order to minimize stopping time, and those trucks had specific instructions to not stop for more than a half hour throughout the itinerary, nor to open the contents of the trailer. Their location was constantly monitored by GPS coupled with a timer to ensure these conditions were met.
Wow.
We had many of these contracted loads without any noticeable issues. However, one day was different.
Oops.
That day, one of our truckers was stopped by a DOT, Department of Transportation. The officer demanded the drivers open the trailer to reveal the unidentified contents. Our driver cited our contract with our client, stating that we could not open the trailer under any circumstances. However, the DOT was persistent and broke the electronic seal himself. Our systems at dispatch were frozen immediately. To the officer's surprise, the trailer contained Tomahawk missiles used by the Department of Defense. 2 Apache helicopters were scrambled from the nearest Air Force base, and the DOT officer was taken into custody. He was later released.
Yeah.
It turns out that the transportation of dangerous contents like this are quite common since they are concealed in a dry van. However, the public is completely unsuspecting.
Yes, I absolutely 100% believe it. Yeah.
Could you imagine?
That DOT officer got a big
Do you imagine?
ration.
I mean, do you imagine the chip on his shoulder as he broke that seal and was just going to do what the hell he wanted?
I do what I want.
And to have 2 Apaches come in and just take you down? Oh my God!
No, they took him up.
Yeah, but they emasculated him in a hurry.
He probably didn't make it halfway to the helicopter before he shit himself.
Yeah, there it is.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Wow.
Lights Out's the next one. My dad was a long haul trucker in his teens until his mid-30s. He never told us a lot of stories except for one about how he knew it was time to get off the road when the pills he was taking to stay awake made him see giant rabbits in the road.
Wow.
But his favorite was when he was about 19, when he went across a bridge in the middle of the night, then was surprised to be pulled over. Turns out the lights on the bridge were all wired together over the roadway, and his trailer had been high enough to catch the wires very efficiently, pulling down every single light pole. How he didn't see or hear what was going on is probably due to how much attention he was paying to those aforementioned road bunnies. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Not good. Quake your time. Once back in 1994, I delivered a load down near Riverside, California, and dispatch told me to lay over in a hotel for the night at company expense. A rare treat. Halfway through dinner and a movie on the TV mid-evening, they called again and told me to run the empty trailer to Salt Lake City for a morning pickup. It sucked to hear, but okay. I pulled into the truck stop to fuel up, but the hose in the tank inject. Does that make sense? Inject it so that it would run fuel into the tank without my help.
Oh yeah, it's when you put your thing in, then you push that little thing down and it holds it open.
All right. I stood there waiting for the first tank to fill when all of a sudden the hose jumped out of the tank and sprayed diesel all over me. Perfect. I finished fueling, got my shower ticket, cleaned up, washed my clothes, and went on. I didn't know how crucial this moment was. I got there and found out that I'd missed the Northridge earthquake by a couple of hours. I don't know if that's what made the hose jump out of the tank in St. George, but I figure it must have been, as that was the only time it ever happened to me.
Wow.
Wow, is right. Noble Truckers is next. It was the worst day of my life, but also the one that convinced me that there are good people in the world. When I was young, my family had a dog named Mackie. He was a runner, and you had to be careful when you opened the door to the house, because Mackie would take off. When I was in 4th grade, Mackie made it out of the door when we were being babysat. I chased him out the door, but he was just too fast, and I followed him out to the neighborhood and out into the country road nearby, and as I ran after him, Mackie paused in the middle of the road, and a red hatchback came zooming up the road and hit Mackie right in front of me. They didn't stop. They didn't swerve. They didn't even slow down. They just kept driving. Mackie was left in the middle of the road, still alive. I was beside myself. I tried to move him out of the road, but he bit me on the hand. Thanks, Mackie. A semi-truck slowed and stopped for the sobbing boy in the road, and 2 truckers got out. One asked me my name and what happened, and I can't remember the specifics, but I remember them asking what vet we took him to. I couldn't remember. One of the truckers wrapped Mackie in his red and black flannel shirt and then took him to a vet. I can't remember if they took me home or if I walked. I don't know how they found a vet, but this was in the late 80s and no one had an iPhone. And Mackie didn't make it. He had to be put down, but I never forgot the kindness of those truckers to stop and help out a boy grieving over his wounded dog. As far as I'm concerned, they were heroes. Yeah, that's tough, man. Gotta wet my whistle. My whistle's a little dried on. I didn't realize that was off. The fan's actually off.
It is. How weird is that?
It shouldn't be.
Nope, that
All right.
won't work.
Bad teleportation method.
I was wondering why it was getting hot in here. Oops. That was a little too much.
A little bit. I was once at SADD, Students Against Drug Driving meeting.
How much so?
And the guest speaker was a long-haul trucker and recovering alcoholic. He told the story of stopping in Indiana and picking up a bottle or a handle of his favorite stuff, drinking it, and basically blacking out completely. He said he woke up at a truck stop in Texas with no recollection of the last 3 states he drove through.
Wow.
Now that story freaked me out. Could you imagine?
No.
How in the hell?
Could you make it through 3 states without
3
knowing?
states with no memory of it.
Ah.
I mean, that's terrifying stuff.
Yes, it is.
Now the question is, was he supposed to be in Texas?
Yeah.
You were supposed to be in Iowa, damn it.
You're supposed to be a little north. Yeah, I was a little north. North. Go north.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, don't talk to strangers. How are we doing on time, by the way? Well, we're getting up there. We got plenty of time, though, still. It says, when I was about 12 years old, our family vehicle broke down at the side of the highway. The 2 adults present asked me and my 10-year-old cousin to go walking and find a payphone because one was heavily pregnant and the other was disabled. We walked for about 2 miles when a trucker pulled over and asked what we were doing. We explained the situation, and then he said to get in the truck and that he would take us to Walmart. He was an older black man with a gray beard and heavy foreign accent, and as we climbed into his truck, he told us that we should never, ever get into the truck with a strange man because it's extremely dangerous, but we did it anyway.
Oh, my.
He took us to Walmart, and we called somebody to come help us. Any random truck driver could have kidnapped and killed us easily, but thankfully, this one didn't. Yeah, well, that's...
You know, anytime a conversation starts with, you probably shouldn't be talking to me because...
Why'd you get in my truck?
I'd be like...
Why are you even talking to me?
Nope and out.
Yeah.
Peace, bro.
Dive for safety.
Wow.
What's in a name? My uncle was a long-haul trucker, and the night that his father passed, he had been traveling from Ontario to Florida, and when he got the call from my mom to inform him of the news, he pulled into the next available truck stop to try and process the news. That was when he noticed that there was a bar right next to the stop, and the name of the bar was my grandfather's exact first and last name.
Wow.
He even took a picture of the sign and sent it to all of us. It was truly surreal.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just like the hands of fate, right?
Yep. Yep.
Just at that perfect
And
moment.
stop and have a drink with me.
Yeah, exactly. Just, I mean, that's exactly right. A dog's life. I was driving across country once and everything was going well. That is, until things started to suddenly get spooky shortly after I entered Louisiana. I saw a whole bunch of cars stopped on the side of the road near a swamp. I kind of felt the swamp was calling to me as if it wanted to pull over for some reason. Going about 60 miles per hour, I crossed over a short bridge and suddenly saw a little golden retriever puppy calmly lying in a little dog bed on the side of the road. It freaked me the heck out. I'm a dog lover, but there was no way in heck I was stopping to find out why that was there. Yeah, there's some things that are just, it's just too much. That shouldn't be there.
Yeah. And I should not stop because I shouldn't be there either.
If you see things that shouldn't be there, just accept they shouldn't be there and continue on. Oh, man. Suck on this is the next one.
Oh, boy.
My uncle was a long-haul trucker in the 90s, and he did mainly international runs from Canada down to the U.S. and back. He had a nice new Kenworth and had one of those maximum-size sleepers on it. It had a built-in toilet and the works. Wow, that's cool. He decided that the small tank that came with the toilet was a pain in the butt to have to empty so frequently, so he converted half of his passenger side diesel tank into a septic tank.
Oh, wow.
Wow. A few weeks after converting his tank, he just so happened to pull in at a truck stop somewhere in the States and park for the night after driving longer than he should have. He woke up at 5 a.m. with the dawn just starting to get bright. He climbed out to see something that makes him laugh every time he tells the story.
Oh, no.
On the ground right next
I know what happened.
on the ground next to the side of his truck was a 5-gallon jerry can and a siphon hose with one end in the tank and the other lying in the ground. Next to this was a puddle of puke and some puke footprints. Another few feet away, there was another puddle of puke, a trail leading away from his truck. Some dumb, unfortunate fella tried to siphon his septic tank in the middle of the night. Oh my God. It's just so poetic. It's a beautiful story of poetic justice.
Oh, man, that sucks.
That's so funny. Oh my God. That guy definitely probably lined up a different line of work from then on. I'm no longer stealing gas, ever.
Hey, why are there lumps in this
Who puts peanuts in the diesel?
Wow, I didn't know I had corn for dinner.
There's peanuts and corn in this diesel. What the hell? It's biofuel. He must make it on the fly. That is so wrong. He's making a fresh batch of biodiesel, Don.
Oh, he's just adding to it. Oh, look, this guy had hot dogs for dinner.
Oh, no. That is so twisted.
Oh, there's nothing worse than vomiting hot dogs.
I just don't.
Swear to God.
He must have just caught a really good pull, and it must have like force fed him a little, you know. Just like,
don't get that shit in your lungs.
will you stop? What show are you doing? Jesus.
I just couldn't help it. I'm sorry. That was.
Oh no. That was a family show.
Oh, I hurt.
That is so tragic but poetic. I can't help but feel for the dumb bastard, but God, that's hilarious. All right. I just don't know. I mean, he must have just got a really good pull, and it just got the suction going and cooked it right into his stomach because he had a whole chain of vomit away. It's like,
Oh, God.
that is awesome. That is such a good ending to that story. That is a perfect.
Couple feet later, you see a guy all shriveled up because he puked all the water out. He's dehydrated. He's
Some guy like chewing on a tube of toothpaste. That's so bad.
Oh, goodness.
All right, so let's move on. So that story was not paranormal, but it's not normal.
It's certainly not normal. I don't blame his
right.
uncle for laughing every time he tells it. Wow. Oh, somebody got a handkerchief to dry my eyes.
So, all right, so this one is the mystery woman. My dad drove a truck between Edinburgh and London and tells this story often. He was driving down the motorway and looked to his right, only to see a woman with a severe bun staring at him with a terrified expression from a car next to him. Before he really knows how to react, the car pulls off at the next exit, and my dad, although shaken, carries on. About half an hour later, a different car with a different driver pulls alongside my dad, and he looked over, and his eyes went wide. It was the same as the woman in the passenger seat, with the same expression on her face. My dad thinks screw this and plans to pull into the next services to report it. Even if it's just a misunderstanding, better to be safe than sorry, right? However, the car disappears before he can get any details, and he thinks there's no point in calling the authorities with no details, so he just carries on driving. Literally about 4 hours later, almost in London, yet another car pulls alongside him, and the same woman, same hair, same terrified expression, except this time she appears to be screaming at my dad through the window. So my dad pulls over and calls the authorities, and apparently they have received 3 other calls about the same woman in the same area in the last few minutes. He never heard anything more about it, but he didn't see her again, and although he kept an eye on the news, he also didn't see anything about it. It really haunts him to this day.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't understand. What is she doing? She just driving by screaming at people or what? Do you understand?
Well, it was only the first time, so it's like she had a scared expression the first 2 times.
Right.
They were in different cars, right? She was in a different car the next time.
Yeah.
And then a different car. So maybe she was...
Okay.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But, I mean, if she's got a terrified expression on her face in one car, the same terrified expression in the next one she's screaming.
Yeah.
There's definitely something going on there.
That's pretty creepy.
You know, what if it was like a ghost that was like hitching a ride and
Right.
unbeknownst to the driver?
Right.
And then deciding to freak the people out driving next to her.
Very, very true.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
help! Yeah,
Help me.
crazy.
That's the kind of craziness I'm telling you. All right.
Oh, goodness.
Number 99, it's coming from inside the car.
Oh, my God. I
That's
hope
a terrible title. My mom told me a story about late one night out trucking. Her husband was sleeping in the back, and she was starting to get super tired and struggling to stay awake. She heard another trucker on the CB radio, and he started chatting with him, and he helped her stay awake for the run until she stopped at a truck stop, and her husband took over. The next morning, she told her husband what happened. His face went white as a sheet. He told her the CB has been broken and that she couldn't have talked to anyone.
Wow.
It was impossible.
Wow. Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Red Cap in the chat says, sounds like the old, a ghost of a kidnap victim.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, that's possible.
Yeah.
That's very, very creepy.
Here's something strange real quick. 69 people are watching. We have 68 thumbs up. Do you know how many thumbs down we have?
I don't.
13.
Yeah, that's because it's the same account. Somebody just keeps cycling accounts to thumb down, and then sticks
I
around.
can tell you where to put that thumb, buddy.
You could. All right, to eat is human, number 100 on our list. A good friend of mine told me this story years ago. He's the stereotypical old big bad trucker type. He's seen some weird stuff with him and while driving down in South Texas along the border. He never batted in an eye at any of that stuff. But while telling me this story, he had goosebumps all over and concerned expression on his face. From this guy, that was basically the equivalent of a trembling lip and poop-stained pants. I'll tell this story in the first person, the same way he told it to me. Years ago in the late 90s, I was on my way to pick up a load in Laredo from my house in Central Texas. It was early morning, probably around 4 or 5. I'd just come off a string of days at home, so I know it wasn't overtired or anything like that. I'm on one of those 2-lane winding roads in the absolute middle of nowhere when I suddenly see something on the side of the road at the edge of my high beams. At first, I just thought it was roadkill, as is usual the case, and I get closer, though. I see that it is roadkill, but there's also someone crouching over the deer carcass.
Wow.
I remember thinking that either this guy must have been taking the antlers as a trophy, or he's just some weird sicko. As I got closer still, I could now see clearly that this guy was eating the freaking deer. He's pulling chunks of meat out of the stomach with his bare hands and bringing them up to his face over and over again. Then, as I'm getting closer, he stops in mid-motion, looks up at me, not at my truck, but directly at me. He stands up, and that's when I realize this is no ordinary guy. This is some huge, brown, non-human creature covered in hair from head to toe. I remember being terrified at this point, thinking that I was in serious trouble. This thing standing on the tiny shoulder, looking right at me. By this point, maybe a good 3 seconds have already passed, and I'm about to pass the part of the road that he's standing at. I don't even think of stopping. In fact, I'm starting to lay on the gas so I can get the heck out of there as fast as possible. As I'm passing, it's still looking at me. Again, it's not just looking at the truck. It's looking through the driver's side windshield directly at my face. He obviously had the intelligence to understand that there was a driver in there, and he knew exactly where inside the vehicle I would be sitting.
Whoops.
As I started to pass him, our eyes met, and I remember seeing what looked unmistakably like inhuman intelligence in its eyes, despite the fact that this creature was clearly not human. It still scares the heck out of me every time I think back upon it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's all kinds of crazy. That there is a booger. Sounds like a big booger to me. Or it could be a dog man, but he said it was, it didn't have a dog description. Just a
hairy
huge man covered in hair.
Wow.
Oof.
Wow. You know what? Yeah, that might be a good one to stop on.
Oh, yeah, I guess, we're 8:55. Well, we got maybe enough time for one more, right?
Okay.
Let's do one more. Just be strong.
Yes.
I was heading out on I-76 here in Denver, just cruising along. At about 70 miles per hour, out of nowhere, I suddenly saw a massive, almost solid black cloud of what appeared to be dirt coming right at me. I'd say it was at least 20 feet wide and 10 feet tall. I scanned ahead of me but couldn't see any vehicles that it could have come from. With nowhere to go, I slowed down and took the hit, hoping that there wasn't anything big enough in the cloud to come crashing through my windshield or to jack up my truck. I'm the owner-operator of the company, so I would have been a major issue for me if there had been any damage done to my vehicle, but I really had no choice at that point but to just sit back, hold on tight, and hope for the best. It was pretty loud as I smashed through it, and the instant I hit it, I knew that it was definitely not dirt. I immediately hit the washers because I couldn't see a darn thing through all the carnage as my windshield wiper was suddenly painted with guts. Turns out it was a swarm of bees, as in freaking abnormally large bees that sounded like rocks when they hit the car.
Wow.
I can't even imagine what seeing that swarm would have been like if I'd been walking instead of driving. They would probably kill the heck out of anybody in their path. Yeah, I wonder if it's the whole killer bee thing. Mm. And you know what? That's actually the last
one.
That's actually the last one, folks.
There you go.
We made it through that incredible list of incredible tales from the highways, brought to you by our truckers out there doing the work, working their rigs, dude. But there you have it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this journey. Don, did you have fun?
I had fun.
Don had fun, folks.
Yeah, especially with that siphon.
Yeah, that's going to be a funny one for a while.
Yep.
All because he hated pumping that little tank. Well, saved himself some fuel.
Yeah, and got his tank emptied.
Yeah, got his bilge pumped. So
oh, boy.
There you have it, folks. That's going to wrap it up for us. I hope you guys enjoyed the journey. Happy Wednesday. Happy Thursday to you tomorrow, and have a great Friday. I'll be back, of course, at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard tomorrow night with the Night Terrors. I'll be back on Friday with the Friday show. And Don, you'll be here Saturday, right?
That is still the plan, yes.
Still the plan, folks. So I guess we've had a good run. What is that? Aset Ramses. Okay. Hi, Aset. Good to see you. Nice to meet you. Wanda. Good to see you. Nice to meet you. I'm just seeing the new names.
Do you want me to do a shout out real quick?
Yeah, please. Could you?
All right, let's do this.
Let's do the shout outs quick. So nobody leave. Can't leave yet.
All right, so we got Aaron, Android Purity, Asset Ramses, Aussie Tigers in the house. There's our bomber. Mama D is here. Digger Dog, Donald Cady, Elaine is here. Ethan, Gonzalo is here. Justin Goodearth. I haven't seen him chatting. He must just be lurking. Lou the Bad Dude is here. Lunatic Fringe, Mary Bond, Miss Dill. Hi, Miss Dill. Paul Holland, Redcap Goblin, Ruger Ridge, Ruthie Castro, and let's see here, Wanda Urker. Let's see, did someone just pop in? Oh, people are just 420 Kyle 1620. And that's David Pierce. There you go. That's all is that David? Okay. Anyhow, so David Pierce. There you go. That's the last one on my list.
All right, guys. Well, thank you all for joining us. And those of you that are new, I hope you'll get subscribed and become part of the Portal family. We do these live shows Wednesday through Sunday, so hopefully you'll stick around.
Oh, I forgot to say Viva. Jesus.
Viva Las Vegas.
And Richard gets it right, of course.
Richard gets it right. Good deal. Great to see all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here, being a part of the journey. And thank you, of course, to my brother and his girlfriend and my mom out there representing the family.
There you go.
Love you guys. And I guess that's it. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Anything in closing, Don?
Teespring. Never forget we have offerings at Teespring.
We do. Link is in the description, folks. If you want to check out the Paranormal Portal gear, you can do that in the Teespring link in the description, as well as the musical links. If you're interested in some Portal music, check it out.
There you go.
That's all we got. So take care. I'll be back tomorrow night, as I said. So without having anything more to say, I guess, I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. Well, I'll see you tomorrow night, folks. Good night, everybody.
Good night.